Okay, so I'm gonna try to recreate a test I did a ways back when Bias 2 first came out. Everybody's talking about a wet blanket effect. Well, it depends who you were. If you played Telecasters and kind of really had the twangy stuff going, you probably said, hey man, Bias Effects or Bias Amp 2 sounds so much warmer and smoother. But a lot of us were figuring that really what had happened was there's a big attenuation on the treble end of the amplifiers over the cabinets or something. And you know, there was a lot of talk about aliasing, and aliasing is always a big, huge problem with you know, nonlinear effects in software. And maybe they were fixing you know, getting rid of some of the aliasing, maybe. But so here's like a simple test setup. I have pretty much the same amp, same cab, same everything in Bias Amp 1 as in Bias Amp 2. Let me grab the Bias Amp 2. So here's Bias Amp 2. They're roughly the same thing. Yeah, there's differences and stuff. I can you know, let me get rid of the amp match and get rid of the EQ in both of them. And might be some slight level differences. Let me just play this real quick. How I have this set is I have one going all the way to the left, one going all the way to the right. The same wave files feeding both of them equally. And on the master bus, I have I've got it in mono so that I can make sense of what I'm hearing and also listen for cancellation. And I've got various signal analyzers, frequency analyzers on here. So let me take a look at some stuff. Just gonna look at levels first. Looks like a decibel off, so let's get that. Okay, so we should be about the same. Sure the audio's working. There we go. Okay, so if you notice, I have one of these out of phase, one of them in phase, so they're canceling themselves at the master output. Not completely, which they should actually. They're nulling to minus 22 here. Let me flip the phase, you'll hear it. So in this case, let's look at the difference between these two signals. So here's Bias Amp 1. That's the green signal here. I've kind of zoomed up in the treble area here. Okay, here's Bias Amp 2. Okay, I'm going to put them together now. So let's say like 5K. What's our 5K about minus 50. So we're seeing, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 decibels here. It doesn't get much more as it goes lower, or it goes higher. So it's not like they're doubling the poles in the anti-aliasing filter or something, but it's definitely a lot. So that's what it sounds like. let's okay, I don't want to torture anybody, but I'm gonna put a test tone on here. Do some. We can sweep it, but let's do some white. I'm not. If anybody knows, like, I'm always trying to find a better spectrum analyzer. I love like one that does a good peak hold. I used to use. I can't remember what I used to use, and it worked really well. Now I can't remember it anymore. But I'm gonna turn this down. Give it white noise, I guess. Let me see if I can get white noise. There we go. Okay, so here's white noise. So here's bias amp 2. You see it rolling off here. But you'll see probably maybe some of the warmth thing people are talking about. Check this out now. It's a little bit more bump on the low end as well, but the mid-range is higher on bias amp 2. So that's white noise. Let's go through a sweep here. And hopefully this doesn't get crazy when it gets near aliasing filters frequencies. But it's neat to see the aliasing stuff. So let's watch it. In fact, let's listen to the aliasing if they've fixed it or not. Okay, hear that spaceship? So let's see which one handles aliasing better. Here's bias amp 1. So let's find out where that happens. We'll start this around 1K. Okay, so you hear the UFO landing and everything. Let's check out bias amp 2. I don't know that there's a clear winner there. They're both alias still. So what was the other thing? Okay, so one thing that I think is that when it comes to using impulses, I think they end up the same. So I think this other one uses an impulse. Let me check. This is a I forget the name of it, but this company you can buy presets from. I'm going to use the exact same preset in both versions of bias here. And now let's look at the difference of these. Okay, so that seems to be a lot closer, right? What happens when we get rid of both their cabinets? Okay, so I've taken the EQ and the cabinet and the amp match out of both of these. I'm gonna this is gonna sound horrible, but I'll just bear with me for a second, and I will level match them first. So they're about level matched here. And check out what's left over from the null test. Not much, right? Yeah, that's really all there is. So it's a maybe it's a little bit of fizz or something, but very similar when you're not talking about the cabinets. So that's why I was saying that it was probably just the cabinets that were doing this. I'm going to turn this down again. I'm going to put the test tones back up. So your sweep. So there's a little bit of difference, but not as much, right? So it seems like it's mostly in the cabs. But if those cabs are on, then yeah, things are going to be different. Let's go one step further. I'm going to pull in some impulses that I know for sure. So IR loader. So let's try these. So I wonder if you can actually bypass the amplifier and just hear the cabinets. Then we'd really know, right? Let me level match these again. Sorry. Let's hear the difference. Test file. So you can hear the difference in mid-range there. I'm gonna bypass the rest of the stuff. Let's see just what happens if it's just the cabinet loader. If we can even do this. Again, the level's probably gonna be off. give the entire sweep so you can get an idea of what the difference is here. Just the IR loader. Get a volume. Okay, so hopefully this gives you an idea of the reason that bias amp 1 and bias amp 2 sound different. And I think that Bias FX 2 uses the bias amp 2 engine, but I'm not positive. But either way, I've just put my impulses in and I've been able to get exactly what I wanted out of Bias FX 2. So hopefully that's helpful.